Okay, good morning, welcome, Koot.
Thank you, Wesley.
Thanks for accepting the invite.
Yes.
I think it'll be an interesting chat. Tell us a bit about yourself, how long you've been in the game, your position in the new organisation, which is the majority, going to be the majority of our conversation.
Yes.
So over to you.
Thank you very much, and thanks for the opportunity. It's not every day that one gets this opportunity. And congratulations for doing something like this.
Oh,
I think the sport needs it. Yes, who am I? East Rand Chamber of Commerce and Industry.
Okay.
Chairperson. All our members, I'm going to say something now which I don't think anybody knows. All our members, 230 members, contribute to the pigeon sport. That's why ODRA is growing, because there's money coming in, not just from the pigeon fancier. But they don't just give us money. We provide services for that. Internet services, all other secretarial services that the chamber would give a normal business. And they pay for that. But the profits that we make, we are a non-profit organisation, but the profits that we make goes into the pigeon sport. There's nothing wrong with that.
No.
And that's why when we started ODRA, we started it as a business. The business is called ODRA Racing Pigeon Primary Co-op Limited. Dis 'n koöperasie, soos al die ander koöperasies, 'n koöperasie is Winnie Corner is a co-op. There's a few members that it's not related, not just to pigeon fanciers. We've got a board on our own on Winnie Corner to control it because there are expenses and assets that's built up, which has got to be taken care of.
Sure.
Right. That, in a nutshell, I've been in the pigeon sport since 1963. I flew my first race against Piet Kuman and Flippy van Vieren and those guys in the TLPF.
Legends, eh?
Yeah. Coming second in a car race from Glen as a young bird race. And then I went to the army. And yeah, I've been in pigeons ever since.
Ever since.
Yeah.
So then that brings us on to the point. Obviously, racing pigeons, you raced in all the organisations that were around wherever you raced, whether it be THU in those days, or GPU, or URF,
GRPA.
GRPA.
I don't think there's very few people that know the GRPA. The Golden Reef Racing Pigeon Association.
No. I don't know about them.
They were many years ago.
Okay.
They opposed TRPF on
Then getting on to a contentious point then, all of those organisations belong to SAMPA. Am I correct in saying so?
Yes, of course, yeah.
And then comes along ODRA. If you can just give us a little bit of background about ODRA, what it stands for, what your aims are,
Okay,
what you make available to the fanciers.
Okay. We applied for membership when we formed ODRA, I think it was in 2015.
To SAMPA?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which dragged on, and we didn't get approval, and then all of a sudden they approved it. Then we were members for 2 years, and we were told that if we do not stop basketing our birds in one basket, which we do for biosecurity.
Okay, if you can just explain that to the viewers.
Well, instead of separating, taking your birds and putting it in all the baskets, mixed baskets.
You have your own basket for your own birds.
When you race with ODRA, you have your own basket. You have your own basket here. You got the can here, and your basket that you basket from is over there, and it's close. There's no basket there, can there, then walk over there to go into security. 2 baskets is close to each other with a can in the middle, 3 people watching. There's one, the guy that's basketing his birds, presents the bird, they check the number, they scan it, they basket it. They scan it, they basket it immediately.
And someone's watching the basket.
Yeah, somebody, there's 3 people. One standing in front with the regulating the clock, with the coupling. The fancier that's marketing, that's basketing, and the observer to see that he just watches this basket, that the bird that goes in there is also in on the race. He can see the screen as well.
Fair enough.
Alright, if the fancier does not want to be present and he wants somebody else to basket his baskets, we can even do it with 2 people, very securely. In ODRA self, in Windy Corner, not in all the other clubs, we will get there eventually, but in Windy Corner there's overhead CCTV cameras which is being recorded. And long ago, in the, was still in the THU, Windy Corner was penalized for basketing young birds in the wrong basket. And when we pulled the CCTV camera shots, they all had to apologize. It's secure, it's still secure.
Yeah, very good thing to have.
Yeah. All right. And that's it. Why do we do it? The big difference is ODRA is a business, and like you have got a business, you serve your clients. ODRA has got clients, they serve their clients. We do not control them. We put rules down to which they must compete with. But other than that, I serve them. The baskets is clean every week. Bas, the same as what you would do here if you do it here. You do your customers a favor. The release flap 2 seals is on. The bottom flap will be this year will be also sealed, because that seal is what he put on his basket 2 weeks ago. And he must still see that seal is still on. He must check that himself.
Okay.
Because that need not be replaced when you clean the basket.
Yeah.
You do it without doing that one.
Yeah, that stays locked.
So he's got to control that nobody has opened his basketing flap and pinched some of these birds, and that's where he's got a good control. In other words, he's got 2 baskets. One he uses this week, and the other one gets cleaned when it comes back from the race, and the other one is standing on the floor, waiting for next week. So we offload and load. We offload baskets and load them. And this year they will be allocated by number to each fancier. Each fancier buying 1 basket gets 2.
If I can just ask you a question on that, because you've been in the game long, so you know the questions that will come. Fanciers, baskets. If I buy a basket, my basket, does it change position on the truck? Because I don't want to race against someone, I'm just saying what fans will say, whose basket's at the top for the whole season and my basket's at the bottom for the whole season.
We have not had that problem within ODRA.
Okay.
But I have suggested that this year we will scatter.
So you have a rotation system?
Yeah, we will have a rotation system. Okay. We used to run the old THU truck rocket. You had 100%. That basket goes in there.
That's what I was asking,
yeah. But now that basket is allocated to you for the year.
For the year, yeah.
But we clean it and we sanitize it.
Yeah.
And it really gets sanitized. Then there's also an additional, I must mention this because somebody came and complained to you and said that we're now going to change our water troughs over to sponges. That's not true. What we do, what we've tested, and this year we're going to do it on a larger scale, is if you want to buy a water trough with a PVA sponge that can hold 8 times its weight in water, but does not drip, and you can tie that in the top of your basket. It's a 50mm pipe that you can tie on the top of your basket. It's there permanently. We sanitize that as well. If you put it in, we sanitize it and we put water in before we deliver. Yeah. Okay. And
have you tested it? Did the bird drink from it?
Yes. It takes time.
Yeah.
I think if you have to really implement it,
Yeah.
you've got to do it at your loft so the birds
You need
can.
to teach them.
Because it's a little bit, he thinks, it's something solid. But the minute he puts his mouth against a drop forms,
Yeah.
and he can do that.
Okay.
Okay, so difference is, why are we not
Yes.
so happy or welcome?
Well, why were you in for 2 years?
All right, and then we went out.
Then you went
Okay.
out.
First of all, because of the separate baskets, and there was 4 things. We liberate with
You liberate the light meter.
with the light meter and lux.
Yeah.
We do not wait because sunrise, I don't know where sunrise when I'm standing in the spot. If I get 400, we liberate.
Okay.
That they kicked against, and we said, okay, we'll change that. That also we do not give, because I'm a business, I do not give or request and will not be responsible for somebody else's debt that he brings over from another club. I'm a business. I cannot see why, if somebody does business with you and he doesn't pay you, why you can't do business with me. We do not give credit. If you do not pay, you do not get a basket. Simple.
Just explain that to me from the beginning.
All right, there's a rule in Sampa
To get a clearance.
to get a clearance. So
Yeah.
they call it a skoonbrief.
Yeah.
That you must take to your club.
Yes.
We don't do that because nobody owes us money.
Okay.
You buy a basket, you get a basket. You don't ask somebody walking in here, give me a skoonbrief because you bought at Koot's place there, Nigel. Have you paid him yet?
Okay, I see what you mean, yeah.
It's not on.
Yeah.
And secondly, who decides whether that guy really owes the money?
Because no one's credit.
Nobody summons him.
And there's
Nobody.
no one's allowed to give credit anyway.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yes, I understand.
So, all right, that was another point that we disagreed upon.
I'm sure you can come to an agreement.
Oh
on
yes,
that one.
yes, we said we would
Yeah.
come to an agreement on that one. There was a third one, I can't really recall it quite now. But the fourth one, we said we will do all 3. If that's what you request for us to remain members, but we cannot, we will not alter our basketing methods.
If I can just ask you to join them in the first place, to join Sampa, what were the criteria? And then why the criteria later?
Okay, the criteria.
So the initial criteria to join, because you joined, it was fine.
The initial criteria was the URF kicking against our existence.
No, but I mean, the criteria to join.
Yeah, that was the criteria why they withheld us. Why we suffered 2 years before we could be joined.
Okay.
Yeah, it was the URF
Okay.
objecting all the time that they do not want another organization within the area.
Okay.
All right, then they said, okay, you could come. But you must remember, as a co-op, when you register a co-op, you must register a constitution which is set up legally that you're going to comply with
Right.
because you're a co-op, which does not fit into Sampo's constitution. The two is not interchangeable. You cannot mix them. Because this one doesn't allow, Sampo says you must have their rules in. This one says differently. A co-op is not controlled by anybody outside. A co-op is controlled by its members.
Most members, yeah.
And nobody else outside has got something to say. You with me? As long as
I understand what you're saying. If I can ask you, why would you then, if you want to start a pigeon club, I mean, you've been around a long time, why would you start a co-op instead of a pigeon club that would fit into all the criteria to join Sampa?
The biggest arguments in the pigeon sport is at AGMs and at meetings.
Yeah.
We do not have those. We're a business. You don't have a meeting with all your clients here to decide how you're going to mix your termites and mix next time. You do it and you sell it to them. Exactly the same year. That's why it was a business, because you can run it like a business. The success I had with the Chamber of Commerce, which is also not supposed to be a business. But if you run it as a business, we're the only chamber of commerce in South Africa that do not beg for money. We generate our own money because of services that we supply to our members.
So
I took that same concept to the pigeon game.
So then what is the big fuss now? What is the hurdle that you're not allowed
Separate basketing.
The separate basketing.
Yeah, but now it's not only the separate basketing.
Mm-hmm.
We've also introduced, and Windy Corner started that, with the loft grouping.
Explain that to us, because that we're not. So loft grouping
Alright.
is the amount of birds that land, or a certain amount of birds that come from a race in a certain amount of time, I suppose. I'm guessing.
You're there. I'm going to explain it to you. You're going to fully understand it. And when I walk out the door, you're not going to have a clue as to what I was talking about. That happens all the time.
Oh, okay.
What we do is we put a marker in each club. I've been in fancy long enough. You've also been in the game for quite some time. There are definitely natural factors that affect a pigeon race, the result. We all know that. If you stay here in this area, you stand a better chance of getting a lot of birds. You might get one or something like that. All right, now what we say is each club or area has a marker. That's the first bird that puts up the fastest velocity to that club. He's the club winner.
Okay, in that area.
Yeah. Whether he's now, because we do nominate, whether he's now nominated for loft grouping is immaterial. If it was possible for that bird to put up that speed within that area, theoretically, it was possible for all the birds that's coming to this area to be here at the same time. Am I correct? Theoretically. All right. That's the marker. Then we take the markers, net flying time, and we multiply it with the second bird's velocity, and we get a different distance to the marker's distance. Because he's slower.
Slower, yeah.
You get and the difference between those two distances, that is loft grouping. Now we measure the first one, the second one, the third one, and the fourth one. And we take the average distances and we say that's his loft grouping score. Measured against a bird that's in his area. You can't say the wind was against me, the pull was here, the overflight or anything like that.
Yeah.
Or everything is gone. And that's loft grouping. That's the basis of loft grouping. Now you understand it, but if I ask you tomorrow, then you will not understand it.
No, basically I understand it, but I don't see why that. I mean, anybody could start that competition in the club.
Of course, yes.
I mean, it's not a.
It's not a patented thing.
No.
The only thing is we've developed
So you've obviously got a program that you can put it in and it spits it out.
That's why I started this thing. I developed it in 1995 in the Nigel Club. But then I had to go and wait for all the results to come in. It was all the hand clocks.
Yeah.
By Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, you only get the velocities, and then I've got to sit by hand and work it all out. Doesn't work.
Okay.
Loft grouping only works if the results are live.
But I think, Koot, not to have a go against you, but I think, I think live is within next year on the whole of the East Rand's taken over.
That's fine.
I mean, it's not.
Yeah, but
it's
that's
not a
why.
question. I mean, it's.
Yeah, but that's why I took from 1995 to now to get the thing properly going. Because to sit and work the thing out.
No, with technology there, it's immediate.
It's now, the technology is there now.
Yeah. So I think live, every club's going to be live now because.
All right, now. Okay, that answered your question. Let's stop there.
Yeah. So that's the one thing. The main thing, I think, if you can explain to me why and how the splitting of you racing your basket, I racing my basket, whereas the top fanciers in the world are against that. They want to race everybody mixed in their baskets, whether it's the basket.
Have you asked them?
Yes, I have.
Have
No,
you
in fact,
asked them?
I have, and I've been there and I've asked them that specific question, and they don't want it.
Okay.
The fanciers are opposite.
But that's not a decision that ODRA takes. ODRA doesn't say, my rule says you must be in your own basket.
No, I'm asking you to explain, yeah. So explain that, yeah.
ODRA, because of being a business, supplying secure and bio security baskets to their members, we use our own baskets. If you don't like using your own basket in our rules, there's rules for how you basket in your own basket, but when you are basketing, scattered basketing, you got to be four. Because now somebody is going to stand over there and watch that the bird actually gets to the basket and doesn't disappear into a private basket and go home, or the ring gets removed or anything like that.
Sure.
Now you're going to be four. We are three, and we feel we're far more secure. But does it really matter? I mean, look at a liberation.
What does Sampo say about it? What is this? What? Yeah, but others say no. But what is the reason they give you?
No.
There must be a reason.
No. If you can ask them and tell me, I'd gladly hear. There is no reason. Why should there be a reason? 5,000 birds. We liberate about just over close to 3,000 birds. And you watch them, and they mingle, and they mix, and then they go. Because some guy says you've got an advantage because the birds are in one basket. They stay in a basket and they fly home in a bundle. But is that? There's no truth in that.
No, there's no truth in that.
I've already, as a youngster, as a youngster, when we flew THU in Nigel, the East Rand section, the THU liberated 14,000 birds. It was the first race from Stainsrus. It wasn't even far.
Yeah.
It was just here. I got 4 birds together. We still had our hand clocks. You can't clock them fast because, I mean, you take first and second perhaps, and then 15th and plenty.
I'm factor involved with that.
But the fact that I got 4 birds together out of 14,000 birds speaks to me and tells me that this is all a load of hogwash. That the birds stay together and travel there, and you got an advantage.
Yeah, I think people also, generally people are afraid of change, and maybe it's also afraid of innovation.
Can I tell you where it started?
Yeah, please. That's what we're here for. We want to.
In 1963, when I was flying as a 16-year-old in Mayfair Club in TRPF, we had a fairly big club. I think we were about 40, 50 members, somewhere around there, and everybody basketed as many birds as he could. And we had 50 to 60 bird baskets, the old big bamboo baskets, which had a flap at the top. There was no flaps on the side. There was a flap at the top. They used to stand all over the club's floor.
Yeah.
And then we started, because there was too many birds. The space was too much for one person to put his birds into one basket. Then the argument started, and it said we must now scatter the birds, and that's where it started. If there's 50 members, and there's 50 baskets, each one must have a bird in a basket. Your bird must go into each basket that's available. And that's where it started. Because of the railway at the time gave us transport just about for nothing. They returned the baskets free. We were very sponsored in those days. But the baskets were never stacked in the railway truck.
Okay.
The baskets flat. And they wanted minimal baskets because, I mean, if it's flat like that, the truck is full.
Yeah.
Then they're going to give you an extra carriage. And then you load again, and they give you extra carriage. You don't take the birds and put them like on the truck, scattered like this, and they open them.
So I think that would be one thing where...
There it started.
Yeah.
And since then it's never changed. And nobody has ever queried it.
Okay, well I'm glad, look, that's before my time, before a lot of guys, so I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
Because
Nobody ever queried it ever again.
we're not, we don't know about it.
Yeah, until we came along and we said, we don't want sicknesses in our birds. We want to... This one-eye sickness, which you often get in I don't want to mention names, but into organizations truck.
Yeah.
It starts and then all of a sudden everybody's got it. We have never had it. In 8 years, we've never had it. Because the birds fight less because they know each other, you know. You can split your cocks and hens the way you know it. If you buy 2 baskets, you put your hens in one basket, your cocks in another basket. Where with scattered basketing, if your birds are sick and your basket with me, I can't go and complain and say, listen guys, I don't want my own basket. You must take this guy out. I'm sure you've seen it already. Where a bird is vomiting in a basket and he goes to the race. Why are we doing that? To minimize, there's a few things. Biosecurity is one, which we just spoken about. Insurance. We insure our baskets. It's insured for 5,000 Rand a basket. 25 birds in a basket, 200 Rand a bird. We've had an accident. We've paid up on that basis. Because there's the guy's basket, there's 1 bird alive, 24 is dead, his claim is X amount. It makes it easier to calculate that way. There's a few others too, I can't think of them now, but there's quite a few pros for it. The only thing that's against it is if I know your basket number and I want to penalize you, I can go and break your seal or do something to your basket. We've never had it. We've had breaking to the baskets, like everybody has.
Everybody has.
On the youngsters coming to steal our birds. We've had it. And then just one guy is affected.
Yeah.
That's not everybody is affected.
Yeah. The other criticism I have heard about, which is not a bad criticism, is the distance.
Okay? ODRA believes that we fly on the day.
Yeah.
We believe if you want to fly overnight and long races, you've got to have a license to fly that. The fact that it's open for everybody, for every junior that's got a pigeon in his loft, to go and basket a bird for Maatjiesfontein, to us is wrong. There's certain birds for Maatjiesfontein, there's certain fanciers that can prepare a bird for there. To go on the internet and to see an advert for the Uppington race, where a guy stands there and is addressing a crowd, and he's saying, if you receive a bird from this race within 48 hours, you must know you got an oyster, he calls it. Man, what are we doing to our sport? They're killing it. I mean, why should we want to kill the birds like that? There are birds that fly long distance.
I was just going to say, because there are some, including me, I love the long distance.
Okay, but now you need to fly that.
Yeah.
I don't fly that, but it's open to me. My system doesn't allow me to go there. I do not prepare my birds for that race.
Yeah.
But if I'm now forced to fly a Maatjiesfontein because it's on the program, and I throw all my birds away because I don't know how to do it. There's no school I can go
Would you
to.
call it forced?
Yes, otherwise I can't compete for the points.
Guys would say the same for a Winberg race. If I don't know how to feed them, get them healthy, get them super fit to sprint home and trap immediately,
But at least you get them home.
it's still cruel.
No, it's not.
If they're not fit enough, they're not healthy enough.
Yeah, but then you can't fly a long distance race if you can't get them fit for the 200.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, what my point is, if you want to nail a guy who's trying to race a long distance race, and that same guy is just as inexperienced to race a 250 race, the cruelty is on both sides. You cannot send a bird that's ill prepared for 250 who's only been to 50k tosses.
Yeah, but
not right.
Yeah, but that I agree with.
Yeah.
But ODRA says we want to get our birds back on the day.
Okay, yeah, that's 100% correct.
We want to get our birds back on the day.
Fair.
We read the weather forecast.
Yeah.
We do not put out that's the fourth one.
Mm-hmm.
We do not put out a race program saying on that weekend we're going to fly there.
Okay.
We give an indication, like this year, we're going to go down on the M12. We're going to have our sprint series on Fridays on Stilfontein.
M12, you're talking west?
Yeah,
Okay.
we're going out on the M12. We're flying our sprints from Stilfontein every Friday, liberate as early as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And then the following, we give the aimed at liberation points. But if there's any adverse weather condition, we adapt.
But I think all the unions do that.
No.
I know, well, I'll find the GPU and readapt if there's a problem.
And the last 3 races you had?
The last 3 races we had were fantastic races. That's what I can't understand. I flew 5 birds per race, and I flew very well.
Yeah. I don't want to go in there because I don't know what is.
Yeah, so
I just don't know. We've just heard that there was big losses. Huge losses.
Okay, I can't speak for that.
And it reflects on the people coming to us and walking away from it. But don't let's go there. I've got facts.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I don't want to speak there.
Yeah.
So don't let's go
I haven't
there.
heard that on the show, so we won't talk about that. But I agree with you. Firstly, I want to say this, that if ODRA stipulates that's our rules, that's our regulations, you're welcome to come race with us. If you're not happy with that, you race elsewhere.
Exactly.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
Absolutely nothing wrong with that. And I think it could have been that GRPA or GRPA had a similar.
Now the GRPA which you're now talking about was James Jennings. He started basketing on Friday nights.
Yes.
And then they used to reach Colesberg
By Saturday
morning. Those birds never rested.
No, that's a different.
And if they were liberated, if there was a combined liberation, the GRPA always were 5 to 10 minutes late. Always.
Because of the votes.
Yeah, not nasty.
But I do agree with you on a point which I don't even go to AGMs or these general meetings anymore because of the ridiculous arguments that come up. So I must agree with you that these are our rules, these are our regulations. Come join us if you want to fly these. If you do not,
okay. Now my invitation to Russell is
that's fair enough.
Stay with the GPU, fly birds with the GPU. Your first 15 birds that you basket, you nominate to ZA Pigeon League, not ODRA. It's a company called ZA Pigeon League, Pty Limited. You nominate your first 15 birds that you basket. You send us your basketing list, and then you send us your race results. And you in free. First of all, for a position on loft grouping, because we now do your loft grouping, and you can also win a Kruger, 40,000 rand Kruger, if you can do it within a certain, we call it a golden drop.
Yeah.
If you have a golden drop of 0.0, it's 0.075, in other words, 75 meters of every hour that the bird raced. So if it was a 9-hour race, it's 9 times 75, that your first 4 birds must be within that distance at the loft. Our record to date is ODRA Racing at the Penoka. Yeah, he did it in 0.35. In other words, it was 35 meters for every, and I think it was a 7-hour flight that we did. So it was 4 birds on the track. Yeah, and nominated.
Okay.
Because he sends quite a few birds.
Yeah.
And then you got to nominate that 50. And if one drops there that's not nominated, it doesn't count. So what does that do for your loft? You as a fancier must know your pigeons. The pigeons must be healthy. It must be good birds for you to get 4 birds together like that. Over a 9, between 6 and 9 hours.
Yeah.
It must be your expertise.
But then just getting back to so to me it looks like there's only one factor splitting ODRA and...
Combined basketing in one basket.
So what rules are SAMPA adhering to the FCI rules?
There's no FCI rule.
I'm asking.
Yeah, there's many. I've got videos of it. I saw a video the other day in China. They got 6 scans, and people walking past. Then they got a person standing at the bottom of the truck. They got another person standing close to the truck, and then one on top. And they scan past basket in at the top until that basket. I counted it until that basket of 60 birds is full. Then they go to the next basket. Then they go to the next basket. And it's every fancier standing there. If these birds, it looks like it, doesn't fall in with that 60, then some of these birds is there and some of these birds is there.
Yeah. Have you tried negotiating with SAMPA?
We've got a letter to say that that's not negotiable, not at all.
And the reason they say it's not negotiable? They must have a reason.
Because there was no rule. There's never been a rule on the Constitution that says you must basket and how you must basket in that old method.
Okay.
It was never mentioned.
Okay.
Then we started basketing separate basket and the rule was put in place.
What year was that?
2019, the same year as what they accepted us.
They put that rule in?
Yeah.
Okay, because I'll ask them because they're going to...
Ask them, you don't even have to ask them. You can go to that website that I've got with the ODRA saga between the two. I don't know if you've seen it. I can send it to you. All the minutes of the meetings and everything is there.
So what is the way forward then for ODRA if you're not allowed to join SAMPA? For a member that wants to race and have the birds acknowledged, their performances acknowledged in the country, how do we? What does an ODRA member do?
We've tried everything. We've tried arbitration. They would not come to arbitration. We then went to the competition board.
Yeah.
That didn't work. We've tried everything except issuing a summons, which we don't want to do. Because the only people that score from that is the lawyers. Nobody else scores from that. Okay, so what was the question again?
So the ODRA member.
Yes, what does he do? Okay, so
where does he go?
What we now did is we now 3 provinces. We now presented in 3 provinces. It's Gauteng, Mpumalanga, and Western Cape.
Okay.
There's 4 clubs there. 4 clubs in Mpumalanga, and then I think quite a few clubs here. All right, and we formed SAPU, South African Racing Pigeon Union, and we've also formed One Loft Racing, International Racing Pigeon Association, which we put there instead of FCI. Why did we do this? Because we cannot work through SAMPA to give people national...
if I may just ask then, because I've been in something similar to this, our constitution says we have to work through a sporting body, so we have to go through SASCOC, through the government, and then we're recognised.
Where does that say in the Constitution? Nowhere in the Constitution.
I can find it for you.
That's
Because
good.
I did something similar, but not for this sport.
Yeah.
And we were told that it's in the Constitution, and we have to belong to SASCOC. They are called SASCOC. And SASCOC in turn belongs to the government, and we have to adhere to the law of the land, which is the Constitution.
Okay, but that's not there. I can guarantee you it's not there.
Okay, I'll come back to you on that.
Yeah, tell me which one you're talking about,
Yeah.
because freedom of association is a rule in the Constitution. You can decide who you want to. There is a general rule within the government that all bodies must belong to SASCOC.
Yeah.
Who does this? You got a one-day loft, a one, not a one day, a one loft race. Yeah. You don't belong to Sampa. Why not?
No, I belong to Sampa. Although I have asked them to come in.
None of them belong to it. We said we'll form the fourth leg within Sampa to accommodate all these people. I went to everybody and I spoke to everybody. And the minute Sampa stopped that immediately, although they instructed me to do it in the first place, then when I did it and I sat 3 months working out constitutions and everything else, they then went and they told everybody, all the one day loft, don't listen to him, don't listen to ODRA, we'll accommodate you. There's still nobody like it. You cannot join Sampa, you, as a business. SA Masters, PTY Limited, I don't know what you call it.
Yeah.
You cannot join Sampa.
Okay.
Would you want to join Sampa?
I would like to have their blessing, yeah, so if they could say that I am...
Exactly. That's why I'm saying to you, that's all we want as ZA Pigeon League, which is now a one loft race.
The ZA Pigeon League, I don't see a problem with that being part of SAPA. I mean, that's not...
I can show you letters that they put out to the Western Cape. The minute you fly ZA Pigeon League, you're gonna lose your membership. It's on the internet. I can show you the letter. From Sampo letter.
Okay, well, I think we need to be fair and give them an opportunity to answer to this.
Then you must get Johan Pretorius there.
Okay.
Johan must answer you. And he's from the Cape. Get him on a screen. Get him on Zoom.
Yeah, I will arrange with him.
I'd love that meeting.
Yeah.
I'd really love that meeting. Because what we're doing is we're hurting the sport.
You see, that's my fear, Koot. First of all, is whatever blame game gets played, the sport suffers.
So of course yes.
So if we can come together, ODRA, Sampo, the Pigeon League, work together.
Yeah.
People want to race ODRA under their rules, let them. People want to race in the... I'd love to race in the league anyway. You want to race in the league?
There's
let
plenty of people that can race, because while you're racing your normal racing, I take your results and I compare it.
Yeah, I mean, that's nothing.
And that we can compare to international guys.
Yes.
You can become a world champion with it.
Yeah, so I don't, maybe Sampo hasn't been, maybe there hasn't been a forum like this where we all sit together and we thrash it out.
There was a Zoom meeting between ODRA management and Sampo management.
But maybe with the wrong intentions.
No. Let me tell you about that. We sat and we discussed it. And George Leroux gave the instruction, form the fourth leg with your idea for ZA Pigeon League so that you can fly it in there. And I did it. And before I could get it off, Johan Pretoria started issuing letters that the people must not belong to it. They put
but
it
he would have had a reason for that. So I think we need to get that reason, because without the reasons of or out knowing that this guy stopped or that guy stopped and this guy's against, we need to get behind the scenes so that we can iron it out. Because without that, at the end of the day, you're passionate about pigeons.
Oh,
I'm passionate. Everybody that I speak to is passionate. Nobody wants this animosity in the game. We can't afford it.
No, we can't.
Number one, we can't afford it.
We're declining on
Number two,
on a
because of
yearly
what you're
basis.
saying now, we're declining, we will increase the membership.
Of course, yes.
Guaranteed it will increase. The more people work together, the more it will work out. So I think that's where we need to get there. Instead of saying Koot wants to do that, George wants to do that, X wants to do that, Brad wants to do that, Rona's there, Rob's there. The sooner we're all on the same page, fighting the same battle, positively, I think it'll work out.
I'm the first one to buy a bottle and put a bottle down, so that we can all celebrate.
But if you think I'm wrong anyway, please say so.
No, you're right.
Because
We don't disagree on any point.
because it's
Let me tell you what else we've done.
yeah.
We've developed the Koenig clock.
A what clock?
The Koenig.
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 Okay.
All right.
Tell us a bit about that.
All right, Koenig. Koot.
Mm-hmm.
And Nick was the
The inventors.
the electronic engineer.
Ah, okay.
So we call it Koenig.
Okay.
We started developing it because of wanting a live system.
Mm.
I first tried benzene, and then benzene just got too expensive. We could not carry on. Then I told Robert, I said, please excuse us, we're now going to do our own thing. And we started developing Koenig. Now, the Koenig clock is already approved by ICASA.
I was going to ask you, what approvals have you got and what?
Okay, we need
What's
to
it?
send it. We need to send it to the FCI if we ever want to,
Yeah.
because the FCI's laboratory is not recognized internationally, and that I know through the chamber.
Okay.
SANAS is the local controller of standards in South Africa, and they belong to a body with the ISO and everything. And FCI
Yours is manufactured under an ISO standard and
tested.
tested.
Yeah, tested.
Okay.
All right. Not yet for pigeon fanciers, because the FCI needs to test it.
Okay.
That's 70,000 rand on its own just to get that tested.
Yeah.
Okay. What we do is we got a live pad where the pigeon lands on. It's got a GPS on it. It records the time.
The pad's got the GPS.
Yeah.
Yes.
It records the time. It connects to the internet and it sends the time to pigeonprogram.com.
Okay.
Live, immediately, within seconds.
Yeah.
And that's it. The clock strikes itself in. You must not disconnect it, otherwise it takes last week's striking.
Mm.
You must leave it, it'll strike in on its own here by Thursday, Friday. And after every bird, it strikes out. It's got to strike out a function after every bird. So every bird...
You can't tamper with the bird after it's clocked.
No. It's done.
No, that's good.
Biggest thing there, the electronic rings is 17.50. And
Manufactured where?
China, same as all the others. Same as all the others. It's got the high-tech S256 transponder in there.
Yeah.
Everything is the same.
Okay.
It works on benzene and works on all the opposition's
Clocks. Pads.
rings.
Mm.
You can fly a benzene ring on it, you can fly anything. Same as top pigeon, also as that feature.
Yeah.
And that's it. You leave your clock mounted in the loft, you take your birds to the top, there it gets entered directly onto Pigeon Program. You can again connect it to the internet, and it's an immediate connection there, and your birds is basketed. When the birds arrive, it compares, is it in the race, and the result is given.
Yeah, that's just innovation.
And then we've gone one further. This we must still try this year.
Yeah.
Our new metal rings, the ODRA rings, will have a QR code on it.
On the ID ring.
On the ID ring.
Yeah.
Now that QR code, if you scan it, it reads it reflects the ring number on the screen. And we take a marker ring and we put a QR code, I call it a macro QR code. and you can read it on a rounding. That's why you can read the one on the metal ring. We take that, put it on a marker ring, and at the club you put the marker ring on. And what the fancier does, when the bird arrives home, he scans the marker ring, and that marker ring is never the same again. That marker ring goes back to the club, gets taken off that bird, and another ring gets put on. So nobody knows what the code is. You can't take a picture of that and go and see what the number is that's on there.
I just want to ask Russell,
And then that's life.
would that flipper be able to read that QR code?
No, they're changing something in the back. Is what it sounds like. So they're resetting. It sounds to me like
It's a micro QR code.
yeah. So the QR code stays the same, but you're changing the information that's connected to the QR code.
No, the QR code stays the same. Every metal ring has got its ID identification reflected on the QR code, and the plastic ring, although it's the same number every time,
That's a different bird every time.
we change the plastic ring every time.
Okay.
You throw it in and amongst 1,000 other rings, and you take a ring out and you put it on the bird.
Okay.
What I'm asking is, would the flipper be able to read those codes?
Your cell phone reads
I
it.
don't know.
What I'm asking you is, there's a device called a flipper. I don't know if you've heard about it, so I want to know if your clock is flipper proof. So, say for instance, this is the flipper, and I've got an electronic ring. I scan the electronic ring, and it reads all my information there on the flipper. I put it on the bird, send him to the race, but before he gets home, all his info is on my flipper. I can just scan it over my pad, and it clocks my bird.
Now you're telling me something.
It replicates the ring.
It replicates the ring perfectly. So, which I want to speak to Robert about, and I want to speak to you about, is that...
No, you can't do that, because as we basket the bird,
Yeah.
we basket it on a read-write. It writes a secret number on that. Every time there's a secret number written to that.
Separate number.
Yeah. So from there the bird goes into the basket.
Yeah.
So you're going to have to take your flipper and go and scan him in the basket to find out what that secret code is, because it's reflected nowhere. You won't see it on your benzing result, on your benzing basketing sheet, or results on your
it's in the background.
on your, what do they call it, on your results.
Yeah.
You just see okay. Then they even know that it's been checked. If it's not okay, then that's not the same thing. All the systems work the same. Koot works exactly the same. Now, how do we overcome that? Because now we've got a hand clock, is now gone. We've got a cell phone, you basket with a cell phone, and you clock with a cell phone. The real time that you clock is the time that the internet accepts the arrival, not on your scanner. So there is a delay there, and of course you've got to catch the bird by hand, which is back to the old clock. But now there's no expenses. The club buys the rings, and you pay them back what your birds that don't come.
So you're saying it doesn't walk over a page, you've got to catch the bird.
You've got to catch the bird, scan it.
On your
The
phone.
same as what you've got to do here with a hand clock. You've got to pull the ring off, put it in your clock and clock it. Yeah, you've got to scan it for youngsters that can't afford these expenses.
Yes.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
There's no cost whatsoever. Yes. Because the ring, the ID ring is no more expensive than any other ID ring.
Yeah.
And the plastic ring costs R2.50.
Yeah.
If you lose it.
Yeah. When it comes back to the club, you don't pay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If your bird doesn't return...
So when are you expecting that to be launched? Because that would be out of help for novices, youngsters starting.
Exactly. The first rings with the QR code was now the 2024 ODRA rings that came out in January, now on the 1st. And from now on, we'll have it every year. So it'll take a few years
to get in the system
before we can. But if a youngster wants to raise 24 birds this year, he can do so.
Okay. Because on that, another point that we have to iron out, and I think we're going to have to iron it out between ourselves, between yourselves and Sampo, I'd like to be involved in that, is the ODRA rings. So are they,
We
your rings are not purchased through SAMPO, they're not registered through SAMPO, correct me if I'm wrong.
No, that's 100%.
Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
So we got to get onto a platform where I've had guys come in here buy rings because they say they might not be able to raise some of these birds in a GPU or in a SAMPO club because they're ODRA rings.
Yeah, now, first of all, tell me, why is that rule there? Why do you think?
I have no idea. I'm not involved in the rules. I've just been told that's what happens.
Yeah.
So you can enlighten me on that.
Okay, now that is strictly against the law that says competition law. I may not. There's court cases about these things daily, and yet Sampo just doesn't. No regret to anybody. You cannot put anything so that nobody else can compete against you. Why is Sampo not wanting our rings in? Because they're losing the income. Why did we start using our own rings? Because I'm paying more for my ring when I import them than I can buy them from Sampo. So why would I be doing that? It's because Sampo doesn't want to supply us. You go to Rana and you put up, and you say, we need rings. 1 year I nearly didn't have rings. I had to, at the end of the year, quickly go and order rings to get rings. She just sent me a WhatsApp saying there's no rings in the country, sorry. Then they forced us to...
So what is the reason that they don't allow ODRA rings to race in the...
You tell me, I don't know.
In the GP?
It's made in the same factory.
They must have let you know that your organisation's rings are not allowed to be raced in wherever.
No, they didn't communicate with us. They communicate with their members. They say, you cannot buy from ODRA your rings, you must buy it from us. That's like you're running a club here and you say you can't buy from Turf Club.
Yeah.
You must only buy from me. The competition law is going to shut you down quick.
100%.
Okay, so that's the one reason. I'm not buying it cheaper. Perhaps now, after a few years now, I'm getting a little bit of a better price. I'll tell you the prices. FCI members at the factory where I buy their rings for 6 American cents. I buy mine for 7. So if Sampo goes to this factory, there's only 3 of them that's FCI approved to make the rings. If Sampo goes there, they get their rings at 6 cents. And it makes quite a difference when you bring it in, your tax and everything at 1 cent. So they have the advantage of price. So they can't. All they scared of is losing the few rings that we're selling. They want that income. There's no other reason.
I just don't see that as a reason because it can't be huge income. It cannot be. How many thousands of rings are you buying? 10,000?
No, 6.
6,000?
Yeah. This year we bought 6, all right, I've got to import another 2,000 now.
Can't be that reason.
Okay.
That's my opinion.
All right.
So I'd like to get Sampo on here for their opinion.
And ask him why they do this.
Yeah.
There's an FCI rule on what the ring should look like. And all these rings are FCI approved. They come from the same factory. I wouldn't do it, but I can show you WhatsApp messages with the factory where she says, if you give me an FCI membership number, I can give you these things at 6 cents. That's fact. You now, it was first 8, I bought for 8 cents, and now they dropped it to 7 cents. And then we went to a fancy ring, which you will see the...
Yeah, I've heard of that, yes.
Yeah, the fancy ring, it looks quite neat.
That's for some price level.
That's, no, it's all our rings look like that.
Okay.
That's 0.5 cent more.
0.5 cent more.
Yeah.
Okay, it's just, look, I think at the end of the day we need to get clarity because this friction between organisations is not doing the sport any good. I don't think. I know it's not. So if we can get the two on a panel here, you'd be willing to come along?
Most definitely. And I promise you I won't get cross and I won't
we
argue.
don't want arguments, we want it civil and we just want it...
If I say something, I'll put the paper down.
Yes.
Not call a witness or anything, I'll put the paper down.
Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and invite who's able to come up, unless we have to do a Zoom. We're able to do a Zoom from your owners.
Yeah, we'll work it out.
Yeah, we'll work it out.
Yeah.
And then it's just nice to have someone in person.
Yeah.
Because Brad did say that he comes up regularly and he's willing to...
Yeah, but it's expensive to come up.
No, he comes up for business.
Yeah, but I mean, if you have to bring you on, because it's not like speaking to anybody else. You must either speak to him or you must bring Rana in.
Or Rona, yeah, I'm sure.
Because can you switch the camera off?
No, you can say whatever you like on camera. Yeah.
Pete Kutsia,
Yes,
Rona's father,
yes,
and I
yes.
always clashed in GPU meetings because he would do the strangest things you've ever heard of. He gives a secretary a casting vote just because he needs the...
But I think we'll leave him out of it because he's not here to defend himself. Yeah.
No. We've always had... we created each other and we were friendly, but now his daughter took that very personally. And she's out to gun Koot van der Walt. This whole ODRA saga is between myself and Rona Groenel.
If I can just say something there, I think you're wrong on that. And I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Because I've had Rona here. As a matter of fact, I had her yesterday, not on the podcast, just chatting to her and saying that I'm having you here today. And she never had a bad word to say about you.
Again, I'll show you the letters.
No. I'm talking from my opinion.
Yeah. I'll show you letters. I do not say anything if I compliment with a letter.
Yeah, but I'm giving you my point of view.
Yeah.
So I don't know about the letters, about the previous history, about Rona did not have a bad thing to say about you. And I'm sure she could have if she wanted to. And she just said, I wish you well and I hope she told me, I said, I hope the podcast goes well. So I said, thanks, Rona.
Louis Hoog approached me when they appointed her. And they asked me, she comes from the OOF, do I think she can do the job there? I think it was financial or something. I said, if you want the job done properly, give it to Rona, she'll do it properly.
I can't agree with you more. The job she does,
Yes.
and the radar on here behind the scenes is unbelievable.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the way she's busy with, and the way she handles herself with the prize givings and things like that.
Yeah, she's fantastic.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But why come here all the time? I mean, putting out letters.
Look, maybe she's had instructions.
Which is harmful. No. Nobody instructed that. No, nobody would instruct that because the letter doesn't make sense. If anybody had to instruct and say, correct your letter, it doesn't make sense.
Okay, so I think what we need is someone from Sampa.
Yeah.
You saying George?
George, if you can get George LaRue,
yeah,
if you can get George LaRue, that'll be fantastic.
That's the top of the...
Yeah, because George, I'm convinced George got nothing against us.
Yeah, so George is the top of the bar.
Yeah. Johan...
What's Johan's position?
Johan Pretorius is the secretary.
Okay.
Him and Rona is the one that's guiding us all the time.
Okay, so I'll try and get someone from top echelon.
Yeah.
And then invite you, and then...
You're going to do some cutting on this.
We cut nothing, eh? And, then let's get that going. At least it's a starting point. To make the sport inclusive. The more inclusive, the better.
As long as the uitgangspunt
The objective.
is not for ODRA to again join something. We will not join something ever again. The same as what you will not, or maybe not you, but all the other one-day lofts, they came straight, we do not want to join something.
But doesn't that sound like the Blue Bulls don't want to join the Curry Cup again?
No, the Blue Bulls doesn't want to belong to the to the controlling body.
Or to suffer.
Exactly, because they don't belong to South Africa. The Blue Bulls don't belong to South Africa. The Blue Bulls has got their own, but South Africa is a PTY limited. That's why we can keep the Springbok, because it belongs to a company.
Yeah.
That's not national, it's not the government's emblem, that Springbok.
Okay, but I'll come back to you on the constitutional point.
Because we cannot, unless what we need from Sampo, what ODRA needs from Sampo.
There's going to have to be a bit of give and take here, Koot, from both sides.
We prepare to what do we need to give?
I don't know. I don't know what they're going to ask.
Yeah,
I don't know what you're going to ask of them. But
if they want us to change our rules, we can't. It's now official.
Yeah.
If they want us to stop this international hierarchy that we put in place, with overseas offices and everything is in place, if they want us to stop that, it's too far. I can't stop it anymore. We tried the FCI. The FCI didn't even speak to us because they only speak to some people in South Africa. They don't speak to anybody else. And some people must have told them, I don't know. But some people must have told them, forget about them. So we formed our own thing up to the UIA, which is a Universal International Association. It's been formed in 1948 already. And there's a sports section there, which we belong to give us international accreditation. And we've done that. Now we can start getting international clubs and everything. It'll be a lot easier. It'll be a lot easier if we could have done it, and cheaper, a lot cheaper, if we could have done it through something. But you mustn't forget, there's still one more thing, which Sampo, especially Johan Pretorius and many Sampo board members, ODRA works with the NSPCA. We've had them inspect our lofts. I talk to Arno on a regular basis, telling him exactly what we're doing, and he's never deviated from their course of saying that animals should not be used for the pleasure of man in sport. That they do not deviate from. Right. But he doesn't give us grief. He doesn't write us letters. In fact,
I don't think there's anything wrong with trying to work with the SPCA.
No, there's.
I've had them here and I've told them to come in and do whatever you want.
I was even blamed for what happened here on your premises.
Before I was.
Yeah. You know what happened. Yeah. I was blamed that I sent them here.
So I invited them here after that. And
yeah. I spoke to Dr. Piet van Zyl.
Yes.
Man, Thursday, 2 days ago, they do not want the NSPCA. They see them as Trojan horses. But it's more Peter than the NSPCA, because the Peter is the dangerous one. They come and take all the pigeons and then kill it. Take all the dogs and kill it.
Now are they along with the SPCA?
No, they international, they're American.
Okay.
And the NSPCA has somehow linked on to them.
Okay.
Through Arno de Klerk's visits to all our lofts, he landed up at, I think we were 67 lofts at the time that he had to inspect. But of course, he didn't inspect all of them, he sent some of his inspectors. He first of all, he started at Johan Jonker's loft. And the first thing he walked in, he said, "Why's your loft dirty?" Because I mean, to them, that's
but that's a beautiful loft.
That's animal. That's animal.
Those guys are professional.
There's no deramas on because the floors are dirty.
Yeah.
And Johan explained very nicely to him that there's a system called cleaning it every day, and then there's a system called deep litter. As long as it doesn't get wet, it's a healthier system you can get.
Yeah.
All right. After that, Arno, every loft he visited, he first asked, "Are you on deep litter or you on the other one?"
Yeah.
So at least he learned something.
Yes.
That all went well.
I think the more we educate them, the better.
Yeah, that all went well. And the last loft they had to do was Chris Stradom
Don't know.
in Pretoria. I do not blame the man. 2 black inspectors arrived there on a Thursday night. The man is busy basketing his birds. He's wanting to get to the club, and they want to see his lofts now. Not make an appointment. They want to see it tomorrow. And he refused. And it became a bit of a racial thing. And they just turned around and went and fetched the cops. Because they got the right to do that. By then, this guy must be fuming. I mean, he was swearing me and he was carrying on because I arranged it. I then went back to Anna and I said, we can't have this. I mean, this is pure stupidity. I mean,
What's getting on?
yeah, I mean, at least be reasonable. Don't be like that. That's the only problem we had. Chris is still cross with me about that. One day you'll see my point. Why am I working with the NSPCA? Because I've got a big drive through the Chamber of Commerce now that I'm busy with, now that we've got that ring that we can give to more especially the youngsters in Cape Town. Because there's a lot of them. There's a lot of them that's interested in pigeons that cannot afford it. I've got a video of a youngster with a draad hockey on the back of his bike.
I've seen that.
Taking it out.
Taking the birds out. Have you presented that?
Yes. Yes, Gerard and them are aware of it. I haven't presented to Sample. I don't think they'll allow it because it's not FCI approved, and I'm not going to spend money to get that approved at FCI.
But I think maybe to get juniors going and certain elderly guys that can't afford it, would it have to be FCI approved?
No.
To get the thing.
That thing is not FCI approved.
Yeah, that's my point. So I don't think that should be a hurdle.
But okay, we need to do that. Get the youngsters involved in the sport.
Yeah.
Then we can grow it.
Yeah, we will grow it.
Yeah.
But I think also we need to get this negativity and this friction out of the way, so that the sport's all inclusive. Not you're ODRA, you're a SANPO, you're a GPU, you're a TRPF, whatever the case is. We're all fanciers at the end of the day. We're all passionate about this sport. And we've all got to look at the positive sides there. And we've all got to be open to criticism.
Most definitely.
That we all got to be open to.
You know, if I come to you and I say to you as a businessman, Russell, there's something wrong. Your food.
You've got to listen to the customers.
You've got to listen. I've got to listen to my customers.
Yeah.
And they're my members.
Yeah. Okay, so I think where we go from here, we try and set up we'll invite Sampo.
Yes.
And as soon as possible, so that we can get it. And you say you're willing to come and discuss
Definitely.
with them, and then we can.
I'm not a person that wants to quote something just because I'm cross or saying something or lying.
Yeah. Or unnecessary confrontation and all that kind of stuff.
But when I stand on my point, when I'm right, I'm right.
Yeah.
And I know I'm right because I know the law and I know I'm right.
So we'll arrange for a Sampo committee member. Hopefully one of the top guys.
If it can be George Leroux, I'd really appreciate that.
Okay. Good, thank you very much for coming along and sharing your point with us. Thank you, I appreciate it. And hopefully we'll take it to the next level and get it sorted out.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you very much.
All right, okay.